Greetings, this is Empress Sankofa, and I wanted to do a video regarding a direct message that I received from one of my Instagram followers. So I received a message asking what has been my biggest challenge as a soul coach working with other people, and what did I do in order to help these people. So I thought about it for a minute, and really didn't take me that long. And my response was, my biggest challenge as a soul coach is trying to help people that don't want to necessarily do everything that is required to elevate. In which case, I have to bring forth my message and then release them to the universe to allow them to choose what path they feel is best for them. There's sometimes in life when we encounter karmic situations and cycles, there's things that we're supposed to learn, things that we had to go through, and we're supposed to come out on the other side having gained a lesson. And not just having gained a lesson, but being able to use this lesson next time we encounter something like it, something similar to it, so that we don't continue going around and around and around in circles. But this particular video is going to be talking about when it takes you 40 years to get through an experience that you could have made it through in 11 days. So one of the things as a spiritual coach or soul coach, spiritual advisor, that I encounter is I have to be connected with the cosmos. I see things coming before they come. I have visions. I have dreams. I see synchronicities. And oftentimes I have to interpret what I see in order to bring forth a message for someone, whether it be myself, whether it be a loved one, or whether it be a client, whomever. But I realize that I'm always on some assignment. And as a messenger, I'm responsible for bringing a message. And I've had to learn over time that as the messenger, I'm responsible for the message that I bring, but I'm not responsible for what is done with the message after I've delivered it. So I use the example of in the Bible, the children of Israel. They were leaving Egypt, matter of fact. Yeah, they were leaving Egypt. Moses had just parted the Red Sea, and they walked across on dry land according to the story. And so they were trying to get to the land flowing with milk and honey, right? So this promised land, this paradise that the God that they were worshiping had promised them. This is the land that I gave your grandparents. This is the land that I gave your great grandparents. This is what was promised. So now this is yours. You're returning to what was already promised. This is yours to inherit. This is your inheritance. This is your blessing. And they kind of ran into some tests and trials along the way, and according to the story, they picked up some customs from the country that they were in bondage with, which y'all know how I am with religion and spirituality, so this is all in metaphor. So please just follow me. I'm not endorsing religion. I'm not telling you to go to church, none of that. I'm just kind of breaking down this story in a different way so that you kind of hear it in a different light. And so they picked up some customs from the previous land, or you could say metaphorically, they picked up some habits. They picked up some cycles that they weren't ready to leave behind. And what was going to be about an 11-day journey turned into 40 years of going around in circles. You circling around the desert. You're circling around the desert. You're circling around the desert. You can't seem to get where you're going because you're still doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The definition of insanity. And so I just kind of started thinking about a particular situation where I saw something in the spirit realm. I was informally coaching this particular person, and I saw something coming in the spirit realm. Matter of fact, this is a loved one. So yeah, I was coaching, but just not as formally. So not quite as, professional, but just, having a vested interest in seeing this person's well-being because I'm connected to you. So I saw something coming in the spirit realm, and I said, so I saw such and such person that you've cut off out of your life. You said this person was a bad influence, and you've cut them off. You're not talking to them anymore. You're done. But I saw this person coming back into your life. And my loved one was like, no, I'm done. That's it. I'm not dealing with this person on any level. None of that. I was like, okay, I'm glad to hear that, because it's a test and it's also a trap. And this particular loved one, she's like, yeah, I feel you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not falling for it. Within about a few weeks after that, this person actually contacted them. And my loved one was like, so I heard from such and such. I was like, I bet you did. So tell me what happened. And my loved one actually decided to entertain this person again. And I was like, oh, okay. So you didn't heed what I said. And it wasn't long after that situation happened that I started seeing this loved one back spiraling through things that they thought that they had mastered already. And so that taught me that there are situations and there are people that will come into your life that are testing your ability to get out of a karmic situation, out of a loop. Are you going to keep responding the same way that you always do? Are you going to make a change this time? Have you learned something new that's going to help you go to the next level without having to loop back around into the same thing again? And how many times do we do that? How many times do we take the long way around? That's absolute insanity to me, that an 11-day journey turned into 40 years, a whole generation. A generation is said to be 40 years. A whole generation of circling around the desert, symbolically going through cycles of karma for 40 years, when you could have made it through in 11 days. An 11-day journey turned into 40 years. And I started thinking about how there's some people that don't want to get on the climb. They think that the incline is too steep for them, and they want to take what appears to be the easier journey. Oh no, I can't climb that mountain. No, it's too high. I can't climb that. Nope. I'm just gonna take this little ramp up. I'm gonna take the steps. Yeah, I'm gonna take the steps. I'm gonna take it one step at a time, and I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. Sometimes time isn't always on your side. In some cases, things will work out to where, things will work out to where you have the time to make decisions, or time to go through the ins and outs of a situation, or you have time to make an A+ on something that you made a C on the first time, and the universe keeps letting you take the test over and over again until you master it. Sometimes yes, but that's not always the case. And there's a lot that is going on in the world right now. We have energy manipulators working on high levels in the occult. You have reality manipulation going on. We are in full out spiritual warfare. So the last thing that we need to be doing is spending 40 years trying to figure out something that we could have gotten in 11 days. We could have been at that promise in 11 days had we not entertained this situation, had we not entertained this person, had we not gone back into doing something that we said we stopped, Had we not stopped smoking, had we not stopped drinking, whatever it is. Sometimes the easier way is not the best way. Sometimes you have to make that climb. Sometimes it looks steep, but it's the best way. Because especially if you are intuitive, or you're seeing things, or you're connected to a spiritual coach that is seeing things coming. As a spiritual coach, there's times that I'm tapped into the ethers and I'm getting downloads about stuff that's coming. And a person that is tuned into what I'm saying and is listening and is getting themselves together could be avoiding something that I see coming. For example, I could see something coming down the road, and I can tell someone, you know what? The frequency that you're on, you need to get off of that, and you need to get off of it as soon as possible, ASAP. You need to fix it. You need to stop hanging around this person. You need to stop getting drunk. You need to focus on your spiritual growth. You need to start learning who you are on a deeper level. Sometimes people heed that advice and sometimes they don't. But let me tell you, no matter what you do, there's going to be consequences of it, whether it be good consequences and you get to that land flowing with milk and honey in 11 days, or it can be slightly unpleasant consequences where it's taking you 40 years to get somewhere that you could have gotten to in 11 days. But in the process of that 40 years, you're running into locusts, you're running into plagues. All this stuff is coming at you because you own the frequency to attract this stuff back into your life when you could have rose above it. You could have climbed that mountain and been on the other side doing what you want to do. You could be happy. You could be manifesting the life that you want. But you stuck in a frequency that is incompatible with where you're trying to go. So the message that I received just really made me think about this, like on a whole nother level. Like, okay, wow, an 11-day journey turned into 40 years. So I'm going to encourage everyone that's listening to this video recording to see how this applies to you. In what ways is the universe telling you that you need to level up? And in what ways do you feel as though you have time, or that you want to take the easy route, or the mountain climb ain't for you? But myself, as a spiritual coach, I have learned that it is not my place to force people down a path they don't want to go. I can tell you, you know what? I see your land of milk and honey, and it's beautiful. It's everything that you hoped and dreamed and wished that it could be. But it requires you climbing this mountain, and climbing this mountain soon. Because if you don't, there are pitfalls waiting for you to get you sidetracked. So how can we level up? How can we cause ourselves to be in alignment with our highest good? Because see, I believe that all things will work together. There I go, quoting scriptures again. But all things will work together for your good. But you still have to do the work. And you still have to have the understanding that it could take you a long time, longer than you imagine it could. Trying to take shortcuts, trying to take the easy way out. There is no easy way of anything. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes without some type of sacrifice of something. Oftentimes, you don't get pleasure before you get pain. You have to go through the toil, which I believe that we're coming into a vibration of where the pain-pleasure principle is not necessarily going to apply to the extent that it has in the past, but just understanding the swing of the pendulum. If things swing this way, it has to swing back this way in order to maintain balance. So if you have a gain, you're going to have a loss somewhere. But just having the understanding that you control the pendulum. You control which way it's going to swing. And a lot of things that we go through in life, we don't have to go through. We go through it by choice. We decide to take the shortcut. We decide to walk the easy way around instead of really going through the things so that we can swing the pendulum the other way. And you know what? Sometimes the easy route seems easy, but you lose more in the end. Because you know what? There might have been something on that mountain climb that you needed, something that needed to test your strength so that you could see how strong you were. Because sometimes if obstacles don't come, if enemies don't come at us, we wouldn't know how strong we are. A lot of times, it's our enemies that tell us how strong we are. So that what we perceive as a steep climb, what we perceive as a mountain, what we perceive as an obstacle in our way, we can perceive it that way, or we can look at it as, you know what? I don't like this obstacle. I don't like how steep this mountain is, but I know that this mountain is important in my destiny. There's something this mountain has to teach me for me to get where I'm trying to go. So I, as the spiritual coach, have begun to just embrace people for where they are in their journey. I don't push people to do things anymore. I don't tell people what they need to eat. I don't tell people what they have to do. I don't tell people who they can and cannot hang out with. All I say is, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm going to tell you what I'm picking up in the spirit realm. I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing for you. I'm going to tell you what I'm picking up that's going on with this earth, period. But it is up to you to decide what you do with that information. See, I will be held accountable if I don't tell you. If I'm supposed to tell you something that I see danger coming for you. Don't make a left turn right there. Make a right. You like, no, I got this. This is my life. I got it. I'm going to make that left turn. Make the left turn. But I gave you the message. So I'm free and I'm clear. So once again, I just want to encourage everyone that's listening to really assess where you are spiritually. I know that I will be doing this also. Just because I coach does not put me above anything. Oftentimes I have to go through things before I can help somebody through it. I mean, I can't talk about something I haven't experienced. So really look within yourself and see any areas that the universe is showing you where you need to make a different path, a different turn. And it's ultimately up to you which path you take. I believe that you'll get where you want to be, but you have to be the one to decide whether it's going to take you 40 years to get there or if it's going to take you 11. So on that note, everyone enjoy the rest of their night, and I'll see you soon.